Hey you guys, thank you so much for hopping on my YouTube channel and watching my videos and stuff like that. Today's topic that I want to talk about is talking about the importance of understanding. There's a lot of women out there who are going through or went through a traumatizing experience with a relationship with a significant other, and they have kids, and they have this thoughts in their head. Should I leave? I don't want to ruin it for the kids or whatever. And then, but they're getting abused at home. And then some women stay, some people leave. This topic is so important more than ever because there's so many people going through shit right now more than ever in this COVID times, right? And a lot of things are coming about more openly, right, with people's situations. So today, talking about that topic, I brought on my good friend Angel. She went through similar experiences as me. We're very similar in a sense, right? And I just wanted to share this topic with her because she has so much experience behind it, and she can put a lot of input on this topic, and then we can share with you guys, our experience. I can share with you more in depth my experience from this topic. She can share with you guys more on her experience in this topic, and then hopefully we can leave you guys with whatever women's out there that's listening to this and has that thoughts in their head, or if you know another strong woman who's going through this, you can share the stories that we're going to share with you today. And we're also going to give you some good tips on the pros and the cons of both sides of the story, right? So thank you so much, Angel, for hopping on with me today. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. It's an important topic to talk about it. It's very different, but I'm glad to be here and share this experience with you.
Thanks. So, like, going into it, I know yesterday I called you and we just went into it. We were just talking, about like our experiences and how we're just so similar. As you guys know already, I've been through a horrible narcissistic relationship for about 15 years. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. That's why I'm just like, it's so invigorating to get Angel to come and talk to me, about her experience and share with you guys that there are a lot of other women out there that go through, bad experiences, relationships. So, Angel, if you don't mind, would you mind sharing your story, what you have went through, and yeah, where you are today?
Sure, no problem. Well, I went similar with like your situations. It's very difficult. I had, for the longest time, I couldn't even talk about it because it's so much painful and it's so hard to talk about it or open about it. But I think I'm in a place right now that I can actually talk about it. And my hope that maybe my story can help another person. And, you have to be strong, especially if you have kids. It's so difficult to make a choice and to take a step like that.
For sure.
I went through like a lot of heartbreak and everything, but it is.
So what made you take the step to like go the route and where you are today? What was your story? Like what made you say, you know what? This is my decision. How'd you come about with that decision? Like I know there's a lot of women out there that are just they think the thoughts, right? That, oh, I want to leave, or oh, should I stay? They think the thoughts, but they don't actually put it into action. They don't actually take that step forward. So what would you say is your thoughts, and what made you take action with those thoughts?
Um, well, first of all, it is a lot of people who doesn't take this. It's either family, culture, religion. Anything can stop them. There's a fear, ego, pride. There's a lot of stuff that goes through you, and I went through all of them as well. But I'm very strong headed. And when I make a decision, like there's no going back. Like when I say like I will do this, I'm stick with it. And that's what happened with me. And I was in this relationship and I gave it everything that I had, but it was just a hard thing because I got the short end of the stick.
Hmm.
I didn't get what I deserved. I didn't get what I wanted. And I live in Canada and I'm educated, I know the system and I know everything. At the end of the day, I know what I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't getting it. And I was pregnant and I was about to have a baby. And it's just that I wasn't in a healthy relationship and I was in a healthy place. I was in a toxicated position. I was sad, I was depressed, I was crying. It was just so much. And then I couldn't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to have a baby, and then I was like, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. I know a lot of people told me that, you have a child, you need to think about it. How can you go? Give it another chance, give it another go. And I was like, I done all of that. How many chances can you give somebody? There's a time coming, like, when the quote that's like, you can't, some people don't deserve second chances. It is so true. You can't give people, how many chances can you give them? Once, twice, and then you eventually have to be like, you know what? You don't deserve it. You don't deserve me. I will be better off without it. And that's what made me my decision. And I was like, I made a decision and I said, I don't care about what people say about me. I don't care what anybody says because at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know where I came from. I know who my family is. And truly, there's only one person in this whole thing that can judge me, and that's God.
Exactly.
And that's it. People will talk no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
People will judge you no matter what you do. But I came to the decision that I need to live for myself and I need to be strong for me and my daughter than sit there and think about, oh, what are people going to talk about me?
Mm-hmm.
So I made my decision and I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I rather be single, happy, at peace with me and my daughter and build a life for her and myself than be in a toxicated relationship, marriage that I'm depressed, I'm not happy. So I just left and I said, you know what? And it was the best decision I can make for me and my daughter.
100%. I feel the same way. So like that's my story is pretty similar like that. Like I was in a relationship for with this guy for like 10 years. Like, well, when I broke up with him, 10 years. I was just to the point where I wanted to get married. I wanted to buy a house, and we were arguing so much. He was physically abusive, he was mentally abusive, and he's just controlling, and we were both young, and but that doesn't make an excuse for someone to belittle you and treat you like shit, right? But yeah, and then breaking point, I was just like, I'm right, like if you don't want to go get counseling, like I'm gonna walk out. Like I'm done. I had met my breaking point. Like he was like trying to get me fired from work. I was working a really good job with the government. He was trying to get me fired. He was calling down my phone. He was threatening me. He was just doing all these things to ruin my life. And it's just like crazy because when I started to find myself, he wanted to break me down even more. And that's when I was just like at breaking point where I'm just like, I can't do this anymore, right? Like, because at the end of the day, it was just affecting me mentally and emotionally to be a better mom, right? For my daughter. Like, I just couldn't even function properly for her. I couldn't function properly at work. And that's what made me reach breaking point to say, okay, I'm gonna walk away, right? And when I walked away, it was like had no feelings. I was done. I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to be with him. It was just everything was like over. And it was the hardest decision because it was really hard on my daughter because he was not mentally stable. I was not mentally stable with the breakup. So it was really hard on my daughter. But at the end of the day, it's so crazy because I'm looking back now. It's gonna be going on 6 years this year that were like broken up. And it's crazy because like my daughter turns and says to me all the time, she's 13 years old, and she's like, mommy, like he doesn't deserve you. Like it's sad to say, but my own daughter says to me, like, he doesn't deserve you. You deserve better. So I'm like, if a child, my own child, a 13-year-old can say that to me, and because she's seen all the mental abuse that he was putting me through, it's like that's what was my ammunition to say to myself, okay, there's no going back. Like you did the right thing. Like as much as it hurts you guys and as much as it feels like you don't want to leave because you make all these excuses, like she was saying, like you make all these excuses inside of your head that it's like your ego's telling you like no, this person's going to become better, this person's going to do this, and create your ego creates all these stories inside of your head. Or then you hear people saying too, like she said, your family members or your friends, oh yeah, but he's such a nice guy, but people don't know what's going on behind closed doors if you don't tell them, right? So it's just like, it's hard listening to what other people have to say and then also listening to what you have to say with your ego telling you something else when your heart is hurting like hell. And when you look at your daughter yelling and crying when you guys are fighting, that's not the environment you want to raise her in. And I'm just like a living being to share with you guys that am off of my experience. I used to think all the time, like, I feel bad, like I came from a broken home, and I didn't want to do that to my daughter. Like, I didn't want her to see me, and this is why me personally, this is why I stayed so long, because I didn't want to give my daughter that broken home like how I had, right? But it's all depending on how you as a parent decides to deal with it after, right? If you're going to move on from that person and then you be a better version of yourself, then that's for sure best for the kid. But if you're going to move on from that person and then jump to another relationship, to another relationship, to another relationship, and not work on yourself, then no, like, I don't advise you to leave, because then that's what's harming the kids, is when people jump into relationships too fast, and then that the kid is just like, what the heck just happened? It's like a shock for the kid. So like, I think that it's depending on the situation. For certain people, it works out better for the kid, because at the end of the day, they're not seeing the abuse. They're seeing you being strong and walking away, seeing your worth, knowing your value, and you're creating a more healthier environment for your child, because at the end of the day, they're not seeing mommy cry all the time. They're not
Yeah.
seeing daddy mad all the time, arguing. Some people just are just not, I'm learning, they're just not meant to be together. This is how we can constantly see that same man that was being abusive to us now go in another relationship and give that woman every freaking thing that we wanted, right? But it's just some people we just don't match. And it's like, we have to set our ego aside to say, at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with you hurting the kids. If you're deciding to walk away for what's best for you, if you're getting mentally and emotionally abused, that has to do, if you don't want to walk away and you're making excuses because of the kids, like, my personal opinion, it's like, that's your ego speaking, saying no, I don't want to, making excuse, your ego's making excuses because your ego doesn't want to get hurt. But at the end of the day, if you really think about, dig deep and see what's best for the kid, what's best for the kid is not being an environment, a toxic environment like that, that's then
Completely.
showing the kid that this is how it's supposed to be, right? And I would assume, Angel, that's why, that was the biggest why for you as well, right? To walk away, because you just didn't want your daughter to be in that environment, right?
Yeah, completely. I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So a lot, honestly, there's people out there that are listening to our stories, and they can pick from it and they can see certain things that will resonate with them. But then there's some people that wouldn't agree, right? And that's no problem. But at the end of the day, it's just like, kids 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 are just, they absorb everything. I'm pretty sure, how old is your daughter?
She just turned 7.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure she's absorbing everything that mommy does. She sees what mommy's does. And it's like, my daughter's 13, but she's seen like everything mommy was going through. Have been working on myself for the past 5 years. But yeah, so it's just, to me, like, we can listen to either our ego or listen to what other people are saying, or we can really sit down and analyze the situation to say what's going to be better for that kid, not caring what other people have to say, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's raising your daughter, not other people, right? You're
Completely. I completely agree. It's so important because you want to raise your kids too so they know like how a person is treated, how strong they have to be and not to settle. Like
Mhm.
settlements is just like the worst thing you can teach your kids, to be like, whatever situation it is, you have to settle. You have to teach them to be strong and confident and know what they deserve and what they should expect from another person. And if you're in a relationship with somebody, or you're when you're married, and it's better to go your separate ways and raise your child in a peace of mind, then being in a relationship together and at home, and you're teaching your kids how a woman should be treated, how a man is supposed to treat a woman, how to be disrespectful to yourself, to each other. And what is that you're going to teach your kids? You both are uh, teaching them how bad somebody's going to be. And then they grow up and they think if somebody treats them, they're going to be like, that's okay. My mom got treated like that. My dad treated my mom like this. My mom treated my dad like this. It's just a normal environment. And that's not a good, healthy way to teach your kids. And that's very important.
Yeah, and we look at it again, like I know, I get it, it's hard, right? To walk away with, if you have two kids, if you have three kids, trust me, I understand. My mom walked away. It's so crazy how this is the
You're
power.
too loud.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I
Okay.
was for a second there. I couldn't hear you. I was like, you're not loud.
Uh, yeah, so honestly, like I came from my mom raising us three kids. She walked away from an abusive relationship, right? I seen my mom getting abused, right? Mentally, emotionally, physically, and then it's so crazy. She walked away with three kids, and now how crazy is it? I put myself in a situation, right? Because I didn't know any better. I didn't know how a woman should be treated. I didn't know how, a man should treat a woman. Because after that, my dad wasn't around that much. And then after that, my mom, she was just so mentally abused. She didn't know any better on how to teach us and on that stuff. So me there solo, not understanding right from wrong, I put myself in the same situation, right? And this goes back down to the importance of knowing that how early to walk away, and then actually teaching your kids by being that example that you want them to learn from, right? I feel like it's so important because yeah, my mom did that. Yes, she walked away, but at the end of the day, I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything from my mom. Like I didn't learn nothing. So at the end of the day, I didn't know any better. So my main goal when I decided to walk away from my ex is taking the time to teach my daughter why. Why did mommy walk away? Why did mommy have to walk away? And then being the example of what I want her to see a woman is supposed to be treated, right? And
Completely.
helping her to understand she doesn't need a man in her life to complete her. She needs to complete herself. She needs to have respect, love, care, for herself in order to have another man to come inside of her life to treat her with that love, that respect, and that care, right? Because if we're not walking away and we're seeing, our significant other treating us like that, and then our kids are seeing it, it's like, again, that's just showing them that it's okay, take it, take it, take it, take it, it's okay. And you're not showing them or teaching them anything better. So my main goal when I was distraught. I won't sit here and say I was the best parent when, everything we broke up and everything happened. It was really hard mentally and emotionally. And I'm still going through it. It's still some days like today, won't lie to you, like it's really hard. Like I woke up this morning and I had thoughts that was going through my head. Like it's not easy sometimes, but I show my daughter that end of the day, mommy's strong. Mommy gets up. Mommy goes to work. Mommy helps people. Mommy meditates. Mommy reads affirmations. Mommy exercises. No matter how my feelings are feeling, I don't let my feelings dictate my actions. I still get up and I still do what I gotta do. So I'm proving to my daughter that at the end of the day, yeah, you're gonna go through breakups. You're gonna walk away from certain situations. But I wanted to set that example to my daughter. No matter how much, no matter it hurts, or no matter what you're going through, don't make your emotions dictate your actions. Still get up and do what's best for you, because then that's proving to yourself that, yeah, you walked away from that situation, but you're showing self-love when you walked away from that situation. You're not sitting there and you're like belittling yourself or putting you down. It's okay to go through the emotions, but it's the actions that the kids are going to see, right? Because we can walk away from a relationship and just not do nothing.
That's completely true. Like, I completely agree with you. You have to. I know you say like the best parents when you're going through so much stuff, the but you try to be the best as you can be at that state of mind.
Mhm.
It is so hard when you're going through so much and you're mentally drained, but then you have to get up and you have to still be a parent, and you still have to feed them, clothe them, take care of them. Yes, you might not be a thing, but I think that's the best you can do at that time. And your kids feel that, and your kids see that okay, she's going through so much emotions and she's going through so much, but yeah, she's still taking care of me and she's strong, and that shows to them the strength that you have, and that teaches them that, you know what, no matter what life gives you, you still have to keep going, don't give up, because giving up is something that you're just like settling, you're just taking whatever comes your way. And that's the goal for anybody, and that's my goal for myself, that I want to teach my daughter that you have to be strong, you have to be independent, you can do anything you want to do, you just have to believe in yourself, and
So
that whatever happens, just know that I'm here for you. I know a lot of people don't might not have the family support or anything when they do this decision, but you know what, this is a hard decision to do, and I don't think anybody will tell somebody, you know what, leave it if you're in a bad situation. Although obviously try, you know, if people are both of them trying to work it, good, but if not, walking away might be the best solutions for everybody,
mhm.
for you, for the kids, because you can be a good parent when you're already in a toxic situation.
100%.
So you have to be take care of yourself. I know this sounds like this to be like self-love, but you have to be selfish. Put yourself first. Because if you're not in a right state of mind and a mentally stable, you can do nothing. You cannot help other people or do anything. Because that affects how you raise your kids. If you're already fighting with your other partner, that means you're gonna take that and put it on the kids.
Mhm.
If you're angry with him and he doesn't communicate who you're gonna, or he can, you cannot take it out on him, guess who you're gonna take it out on? The kids. But so it's just it's very hard. Like I say, um, it's it's a hard decision to do. A lot of people take it. Some people can do it. Some people they just question it too much. But it just like when you reach your last points, you're gonna have no choice but to do it.
Mhm.
It's a good. But it's important to have support, whether it's family, friends, other people, help places that can help you. You need the support, somebody to tell you to like, you know, you'll get through with it. You just have to get through it.
And the next thing is that, I find like there's some people that don't have the support. Hey, if you don't have the support, you gotta find out. There's helplines.
Yes.
You can call helplines and they'll tell you how to deal with, because a lot of the times people who go through abusive relationships, they go through PTSD, right? So you can always Google. They have helplines, they have helplines, they have community centers that are now doing virtual classes that you can talk about, the stress that you've been through, the pain that you've been through, the traumatizing experiences you've been through. So there's people that you can talk to. There's always somebody you can talk to. Some great tips that I'll share with you, and then I'll ask Angel her tips too. what she did to, cope mentally with when she broke up. But a lot of things that I dabbled into through the breakup after I left was, meditation, right? I started meditating. I started writing out in a journal. It's so good to get those feelings, get those emotions off onto paper. Writing some affirmations. So instilling positive thoughts. It's like reprogramming your mind that, you are worth it. You are worthy of love. You are worthy to be in a healthy relationship. You are beautiful. You are amazing. Just healthy affirmations to like reprogram your mind from all that hurt and that trauma that you've been through that made you feel like you're nothing, made you feel like you can't do anything right yourself. You need somebody else. So affirmations helped me a lot, a lot, a lot. And then just sometimes writing letters to myself, like, writing a letter to myself, letting myself know how much I love myself, understanding that it wasn't my fault, right? I didn't deserve to be treated like that, right? And that I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm kind, I'm caring. Write a letter to yourself, just letting yourself know how much you love yourself, right? Forgiving yourself for like that was a big thing for me. It was forgiving whatever mistakes that I did that was wrong in that relationship, just forgiving everybody in this situation, forgiving myself for putting myself down, for leaving, and then forgiving him. At the end of the day, a lot of people that are an abuser, it has to be it's a lot, it goes to be a lot more deeper. They have some deeper pain from their childhood experience, as they were growing up and they were raised. They've just been through a lot of messed up shit and they don't want to face it, so they use other people as a punching bag, right?
Yeah.
So that, like, a lot of that has to do, if you're getting abused, a lot of times your abusers are, they're, I believe the word is narcissistic. So a lot of people, they don't even understand. So if you feel that, somebody is constantly abusing you mentally and emotionally, and is physically abusing you, or is like doing things like ignoring you to like hurt you, right? Know that you're crying, you're hurt, and you want to talk to them, and they're ignoring you for days upon days. Or if they're calling you crazy, making you feel like you're crazy all the time, like that's called, like, I believe, gaslighting. So like there's a lot of things that you can Google and research based off of your experiences if you're getting abused, right? And the thing is that if you're in a narcissistic relationship, that can now fall onto your child. Your child now can turn into a narcissist because they had a narcissistic parent. So if there's not one parent trying to do better, and both of you guys are on the same vibration and same level, that are mentally struggling, that shit is falling onto your kids. It's gonna,
Completely.
whether you admit it or not, right? So I think that there's, again, me researching that the shit that I've been through, wow, like that person actually does have a sickness. So it helps me to forgive them, because I'm just like, they're just, it's all that shit that they have inside of them that they can't face in the mirror, is why they took it out on me, right?
Yes.
Because I was so loving and caring and sweet and kind and nice, and we gave them the love that they couldn't find within themselves, right? But then I realized too, what helped me is helping me to cope and move on as well, is understanding that a lot of times when we accept this stuff and we think that it's okay, or we make excuses to stay, we have an issue within inside of ourselves as well, that's deep
Yes.
down, that we have to figure out and face. Why did we allow that to happen? Why are we not valuing ourselves, and why are we not seeing that we're enough to move out from that person, move out from that situation? It's something within inside of us that we really need to dig deep down and understand within us as well, and not just put the blame out there on the finger on other people, right? That this person's doing this, or this person's telling me to stay, that person's, no. If you're staying, it's you have control of your body, not those people, you. So there's something inside of you as well also that's telling you to stay. But why is that voice inside of you telling you to stay? dig a lot more deeper to understand, like, why is it that you can't leave, or you're stuck in that situation, or you want to stay, right? Really work on yourself. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now, you guys. Those are some tips that I'm sharing with you guys right now, that I am physically working on right now with myself right now to this day, to cope with moving on, to cope with me being a better version of myself for my daughter, to take those action steps and show her, not
Yep.
just tell her, show her by my actions on an everyday basis, her seeing mommy becoming stronger mentally and emotionally. So if you my tips, Angel, what are some of your tips that you have after everything that happened, after you walked away? What are some tips that you started to really dabble in and work on yourself to become stronger mentally, emotionally, to get over all this and be that better example for your daughter?
After well, after a long time that I finally decided to, take care of myself because it was hard. I completely like let go of everything. It was just too much. But then after a while, you have to get up and you pick yourself up and you say, okay, now it's time to put the pieces back together. Put them back together because I can't walk around with like broken heart, broken spirit, broken everything. Um, for me, I just had to find the most smallest thing that would make me happy, anything that it was. Um, whether it was just to play a game on my phone for like 15 minutes just to forget everything, I just did that. I started getting really into like praying and getting in touch and wanted to get closer to God. I was like, I really wanted to do, and that's how I started praying every day, every single day. So, and that became a part of me. And now it's a part of me that I have to pray every day. I can't go. It's like if I don't pray, I feel like I just don't feel good. I'm like, as soon as pray, I feel calmness, and that helped me. I did do the journaling. I still do journals. I did bullet journals, and that was a very calming for me because I used to just make stuff for each month. I did bullet journals. Vision boards are another thing that I started to doing that helped me out a lot. I started listening to a lot of like motivational videos and everything. Tony Robbins is one of them that I did listen to a lot of it just to give you an idea. It just helps you so much. It just makes your mind go somewhere else. um, I started hanging out with some people. I started getting back to work routine, just to get up every morning, get ready, even if I felt like inside like shit. But then I was like, you know what? Let me do my hair, put on my makeup. At least when I look at myself in the mirror, I look pretty. And that made me feel so good. And dress up and just go for drives, anything. Yeah, I still had my days that I was feeling like thing, but praying was one thing that really does help me. And that's something that I'm still working on it, and I want to be stronger. I want to make, I mean, I've always have faith in everything, but I wanted to make it so strong that I want to be closer, so closer to God, and that helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Reading books is one other thing that helped me. I started reading a lot of books that were helpful, like, how to control your mind, your emotions, how to get rid of this stuff, how to let go of it. And just listening to other people, like the stuff that they went through and how they got through. And these are stuff that helped me a lot. I even start writing down like stuff we didn't, you know, I was like, not last year, 2 years ago was a new year, and I just wanted to fresh start it. We wrote down everything we didn't want to bring. Me and my sisters did that. We literally took a pieces of paper and wrote everything down that we didn't want to bring to the new year, and then we just burned them. We're like, you're done.
Nice.
Don't bring it to the next year.
It was like,
Fair, like 20, yeah, just release it and let it go. Like that was help. But those are some of the stuff that I did. But the most thing that I found that was like you need to find us even not big things, but just smallest little thing that'll bring you happiness, that gives you joy, whatever it is. Just to sit down and have a coffee, go for a walk, watch a movie, watch a TV show, anything it is, whether it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just take that just to recharge yourself and just zone everything out.
yeah, that's what I heard from somebody else too. It's just like find those little things that make you feel happy. And once you find, again, you guys, like, once you find happiness within inside of you, like every you're like it's gonna literally vomit out on your kids, right? It's gonna they're gonna feel that mommy is happy. You know, they're gonna get excited to see that you're doing better. You're happy. Like me and my third daughter again is 13 years old, and our relationship has grown so much, and we're actually a lot more closer after I decided to set like things happened between me and her dad, and we both separated. And now she's a lot more happier because like she sees that her dad's happy because he moved on, and he's talking to somebody, but he's happier, right? He's happier. He less fights, less arguments, where she's not in the middle. I am still struggling a little bit, but at the end of the day she sees like I'm working on my, like I got, like, same thing, Angel, I got really close to God too, right? Like this whole situation got me to get closer to God as well. And I think whoever's watching this, if you're a godly person, I feel like we go through tribes and tribulations inside of life to get us closer to God, get us closer
Yeah,
to
completely.
becoming the better version of ourselves. We all have to go through challenges in life, and grow from them and evolve from them. That's the next thing, you guys. So if you guys are in a relationship right now and you guys are staying, and because you guys have kids and you're not moving out of that toxic relationship, that's you just being stagnant in life, right? That's only going to stop you from moving forward in life, right? And then that from there, it's like now you're teaching your kids that, like she said before, it's okay to settle, and it's not okay to settle, right? We need to be that light at the end of the tunnel for our kids, to show them that we can be the best versions of ourselves if we just choose to pull from that strength and work on ourselves to be that better version of ourselves. And we cannot be a better version of ourselves for our kids and be the best example for our kids if we're staying in a relationship. Not just because they're seeing daddy every day means that you're being a good parent. No, right? When they see mommy getting disrespected and hurted, and you know daddy disrespecting mommy, that's like, that's not making them happy, right? Or them crying or screaming, them feeling alone or stressed out. Like that's not even if your kids say to you that they're not stressed out, or even if they're little, or it's that energy is still falling onto them, that energy of stress, that energy of worry, that energy of anxiety, right? Them getting scared, what if like somebody yells around them or something like that happens, and that's traumatizing for them. So the biggest part is, you guys, is understanding that there's help out there if you decide to walk away, right? And just understanding that you can make it. Angel is a successful real estate agent, right? And she's doing amazing things, and in the financial industry. I'm a successful financial advisor, right? We can, and I live in a nice condo. She lives in a nice home. If you're out there and you're listening to me, you can make it. You can do it, right?
Yes,
And just the tools that we just gave to you, she gave you some amazing tools of understanding how you can move on from the situation and be okay. I gave you some amazing tools from moving on from the situation and be okay. We also shared with you guys amazing life experiences that she's been through and I've been through, and we made it out on top. Yes, we still struggle with, emotional stuff here and there, right?
yes,
But that's life. We're always going to go through emotional situations here and there, right? But that's the best part. That's growth, right? We can honestly stand, Angel can stand tall, I can stand tall and say, hey, we made it out, and we're the best versions of ourselves for our daughters. We're setting the tone, right? Right, Angel?
completely. I agree with you. It is. Um, Taking that big step, it is a challenging, and you can let fear run your life or anything. Just whatever's best for you and whatever you feel in your heart, that's what you should do. There's always support for you. There's helplines, there's centers for anybody. There's like, even if you need help, I know through government they give you free therapy lessons and everything that you can just book it, go, and if you need help for that, there's so many different resources for anybody that can help you. And there's
Exactly.
women groups are all over the social media that they support other women. They help them to help you stand up on your feet. But the decision comes to the person. If you decide to take that leap to leave, or get out and make something out of yourself, there's options, so many places to help you.
Exactly. And I think like my biggest lesson I learned is, and you could share this after as well, Angel, what's one of your biggest lessons, and then we'll wrap it up. I think my biggest lessons is understanding that I need to find out who I am as a person. When you leave a toxic relationship, when you leave an abusive relationship and you have kids, it's so important to take the time to self heal, understand who you are as a person, you know, and love yourself. Find out what is love, because when you are in a relationship like that for so long, you lose sight of what's the true meaning of love. And what I've learned is we are love. We are walking beings of love. So my biggest takeaway from that relationship was, and I wrote it down, that's the next thing you guys can do too. When you guys decide to leave, write pros and cons lists, right? And actually write down, if like what are some things that you learned from that relationship that now you can teach yourself, and making sure going forward that you're not going to make sure that you put yourself in that situation. So for two big things that I learned is that I need to learn how to love myself more, and I need to learn how to understand that it's okay to be alone, right? That I'm never ever alone. God is always with me, right? And I always have an amazing, loving, beautiful daughter. But I need to realize that, again, it's okay to be alone, because if you don't realize these two big things, it's like so crucial. You might just get back in another relationship and bring somebody into your kid's life that will like you'll self-sabotage yourself in that relationship because you can't be alone, or because you don't know what self-love is. So then that person won't treat you with love. That person won't respect you because you don't know those things about yourself, right? And that's the whole point of walking away and teaching your kids that stuff. So if you want to teach that stuff to your kids, you got to understand to start learning on how you can gain that stuff for yourself, because it all starts with you. So what are some two things, before we wrap up, Angel, would you say two things that you learned from that relationship?
It is exactly just like you said. It is to find yourself, find who you are as an individual, find who exactly is this person. That she said in front of the mirror, you have to look and say, okay, who this person is.
Mhm.
And you have to know that you're okay with being alone. And most important, the thing that for me is love yourself. If you cannot truly love yourself, you cannot love anybody else. You have to truly love yourself and be okay with yourself, however you are. And those are the two things that I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to find myself even more. But what I find is what I like so far. Because
Exactly.
there was a point that I didn't even know who I was, what I liked.
Mhm.
When I look in the mirror, I saw a blank because I couldn't tell myself. But now that's what the whole point is. Like, you need to find yourself when you look in front of a when you stand in front of a mirror. The reflection you see, are you happy with that person? Are you proud of that person? How does that person makes you feel? And then you truly will find your happiness and peace. Finding a peace is not an easy thing. We're all working on it on a daily basis to find it. Once you find it, then you truly will find happiness.
100%. So you guys, you heard it from me and her, right? We've both been through it. We gave you some good tools that you can take a step back and work on if you did leave, or if you're thinking about leaving. You heard it from two, successful people who've made it out, who have, who have a daughter, right? And yeah, we gave you so much great tools and information and stories that you can take to make that leap of faith in yourself, that you have the strength within you to walk out of a toxic relationship that's not doing you any justice for your kids, right? So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Thank you so much, Angel, for hopping on. I really, really appreciate you taking the time and being open to share your experience and to share with other people, how they can get out of, a toxic situation with their kids and still be okay. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, you guys.
For having me.
No problem at all. So
Now,
I always say in all my videos, you guys, each one teach one, share the love, share the knowledge. There's so many people who can, gain so much out of this conversation that me and Angel just had. That if it doesn't resonate with you, you may know a friend, a family member, somebody out there that can, take this information and this video that we just shared with you and take that leap into becoming a better version of themselves and a better version for them, for their kids as well. So both of us, we do have amazing inspirational pages. Angel, if you like, you can share your Instagram page or your YouTube page that you have that people can go and find you at.
you can find my Instagram. It's my Instagram page is Let Angel Work For You. It's the number 4 for you. It's easy. Or you can tag me on the YouTube channel and they can just click on my website, on my page.
Nice. So, and then the same thing with me, you guys know where to find me for my YouTube channel. And then Instagram, it's Toronto_Tracy_Gobin. So go check out my Instagram page, go check out Angel's Instagram and YouTube page. If you guys have any questions, you guys can always DM us or ask us any questions. We're always willing to help uplift other strong women out there that can really make a difference inside of their lives. That's the whole point we made this video for you guys out there. Sending lots of love in these crazy times, you guys. And thanks so much for joining. Look out for another video tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow on my YouTube live. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care. Bye.